Hello, I'm here. It is 12:09 a.m. on Wednesday, January 8th. I almost said December 8th. Wow. I hadn't even been messing it up this whole time. Like, how was I regressing like that? Anyway, I'm here. Hello, everyone. Hello, Roxas Enjoyer. Hello, Ayla. You think it's weird how Koala Cure isn't even an Australian-based company? Some guy in Colorado just really liked koalas. Anyway, hi. Hello. I've never... A Koala Care? What even is that? I don't think I've heard of that before. Anyway, I'm here. As I mentioned Sunday, I skipped last night because I had some voiceover stuff to get done. And tonight I had drawing stuff to get done, so I'm not here early. But I think I'm pretty much all caught up. So tomorrow and Thursday I might be here a little earlier just to make more progress in this. Again, I want to get this done by the end of next week. At the latest, like next Sunday. It's the baby changing stations in every public restroom. Oh, you know why I don't know that? Because every baby station I see in a restroom, that logo is like so worn off because those things are from like the 1950s, 1960s, 70s, 80s, whatever. They're usually rather dirty. Anyway, that's a jabroni Mike emote, isn't it? Yeah, burst self. Of course it is. Anyway, I'm here. We're gonna pick up Ace Investigations. I'm investigating Ace people. Ace Attorney Investigations 2, Prosecutor's Path, Case 2. I think we're in the final segment, but like, I also underestimated how long each of these segments are. I thought they were all gonna be like an hour and a half, but no. So we're gonna see if we can beat we can beat the second case tonight. We'll see how we're feeling and if I can get through the first part of the third case afterwards. But yeah. That's really all there is to say. Only real thing to mention here is that my right hand has been a little fucky lately. It's been kind of in pain, and it's been radiating through my fingers. I've been taking painkillers, and it's keeping it under control, but I might have to give my hand a rest here and play with, like, just the left hand. I think I pulled muscles or damaged a nerve in it. I'm not sure. We'll find... that's for me to know and you guys to find out. I might do a ramble. I haven't done like a proper ramble in a few streams, so I might do one tomorrow just to kind of lay out what's been happening and what's going to happen the next couple weeks. Anyway, previously we found out that Bronco Knight, the villain, the culprit of the first chapter, is now dead. We believe that he was killed by this guy's assassin dog, Helmut. And, yeah. But they are holding, they're holding Knight's friend, Simeon Saint, who, at the end of the last stream, was revealed to be working for the Circus, despite him saying that he was, like, a paper pusher. So, now we're confronting him and seeing what the deal with that is, because we are trying to prove his innocence here. And again, as I've said, every stream of well, not every stream, but the last couple streams specifically, treat this as a new playthrough. Treat this as me not knowing what I'm doing, even if I've played this before. So, no need to give answers or spoil anything, unless I say, okay, I'm stuck, can someone help me with this? Anyway, it's March 28th, 3:02 p.m. We are in the detention center of the visitors room. Oh. I gotta... Human. Also, I gotta make myself a ghost. Keep forgetting that. They didn't see him when he first appeared, but I'm happy they brought back Frank saw it. Yeah, Frank saw it. Yeah, they even... both the fan translation and the official translation actually kept in the references to his lines from the first game as well. About him finding the body, not moving, dead. Ramble. Yes, tomorrow, Ramble. You withheld information from me. Why? Okay, I gotta get this guy's voice back. Like Zoink Scoob! Like Zoink Scoob! Eep! I didn't withhold anything! Or at least I didn't mean to! Okay, so you are a member of the very big circus, right? No! I mean, yes, but no! I'm not really a member. I'm still new. That's irrelevant. You're still a member. Eep! Wow. Let's try this again. Why didn't you tell us? Because it would have looked so suspicious. Me being a performer in the circus show. And me being friends with Bronco. I thought if anyone found out, nobody would believe I was innocent. Not even you, Kay. I thought I'd made it clear that I believed in you. But when you stare at me like that, I get so terrified. You're a real smooth operator, aren't you, Miles? Any other clients scaring tips you want to share? I can't tell if he's... Oh, he must be, because there's 2 extra O's. I was going to say, is that a typo, or is that him just dragging out the word smooth? It's him dragging it out. You're really not helping, Fender. And at this rate, it sounds like we'll really need to question him about everything all over again. So, what do you do at the circus, Simeon? I'm an animal tamer. Kind of. I'm still learning the ropes. That's so cool. Do you get to train lions and tigers and bears and stuff? Lions, tigers, bears. Oh my. No. I work with this little guy. Looks pretty tame already to me. So you're not exactly a tamer. More like one of those old-timey organ grinders. There he is. The monkey. Not now, Money. I'm trying to. Oh, you little scamp. Oh, it's Money. It's the monkey specifically from the other case. The one who steals all the shiny shit and left it in Acro's room. Also, let me make sure I'm not highlighting the PNG tuber thing on my stream here. There we go. Little monkey fella, look at this. He ratatouilles him. The monkey clearly did it. Something tells me it's the organ grinder who's being monkeyed around. The very big circus. Circus mentioned, game ruined. When we spoke to you before, you said you worked at a company. I was telling the truth. Circus really is a company. We have titles and everything. The ringmaster's a CEO, and I guess you'd call me a gopher. I even have a line manager. She's the head of the animal taming department. It's part of the showbiz division. She's such an inspiration. There isn't a creature in the world she couldn't have convinced to do her bidding. Even Miles here? I'd like to see somebody whip him into shape. I am not some kind of creature, Fender. So this line manager, was she working with you on the show? Yes, it was just us two. It wasn't that big of a job compared to what we normally do. She's usually the one performing on stage. I just do all the monkey work. But I did have a bit part this time. So only 2 members of the circus are relevant to this case. Did I do this knowing people didn't like the original case or what, I wonder? I don't know. I mean, the weird thing with this game is that they bring back a lot of fan-favorite characters. Like, Shelly Day Killer coming back was absolutely in response to how popular the character was. Probably overseas, too, which is really funny because this is the one game that did not come overseas for so long. But yeah, I definitely could see that, like, they brought back people. I don't know, I mean, people, considering who the other character is that shows up from this, I think there's a certain appeal to that character for a certain audience. Anyway. Alright, talk me through your movements here at the facility. Sure, I came to see Bronco at around noon 2 days ago. And that was when you brought him the chess set? Yes, and that same evening I started work on setting up the stage in the yard. It was so hard. I had to haul everything in by myself over multiple trips. They let us use one of the rooms in the prison for storage. Workshop A, I think. Workshop A, where Knight's body was found. You mean your boss didn't help you? Oh no, I could never ask her to schlep all that stuff around. Like I said, the monkey work's my job. Once it was all set up, we did a run-through. It must have been, midnight by the time I left. The next morning, I was back and ready for the show, which started at 8 a.m. Then we performed till 10. Yeah, schlep. Schlap. It's like Kay saying the word snatch in the first case a bunch of times. So Mr. Saint was the only one of the pair to have entered the room where the body was found. And Knight's body was found immediately after the show had ended. You have any idea why you were arrested? And why so quickly? Never seen a guy get booked so fast. Surely even Lil Winter wouldn't just pull somebody on Surely even Lil Winter wouldn't just pull somebody in on a hunch. Never underestimate the power of an undeveloped intellect. I think I might know why. When I was moving all that stuff, I went to see how he was doing. Bronco, I mean. You went to the holding cells on your own? Tell me you had permission. No, it wasn't a formal visit or anything. So I just sort of snuck over and hoped no one stopped me. But you just seen him earlier that same day. Why take the risk? I've known him since we were kids, when both of us were all alone. He doesn't have any family, you see. Just like me. Well, he doesn't have anything now. He's dead. I knew he'd be feeling lonely, that he'd want somebody to talk to, so I had to go see him. You don't have any family? For a while, I had my dad, but he passed away when I was a little kid. Losing one's father as a child. I know that pain all too well. He's just like you and me, Mr. Edgeworth. There was nobody else nearby when you went to see him? No, the other holding cells were empty, and I didn't see any guards. Well, somebody must have seen you or you wouldn't be in there. Oh no, no, I messed up so bad, didn't I? So the assumption is that something happened while the two were alone together. At least I imagine that would be Winner and Judge Gavel's thinking. In any case, I think we need to speak to your boss next. Last I heard, she's supposed to be around today, too. Somewhere in the yard. Turn the volume up a little bit because the music's a little low. Tell her I'm sorry, won't you? I'm so sorry. I can't believe I let this happen. Sure thing, Samian. We're here for you. If there's anything else we could do, just say the word. But, I mean, there's nothing I could do for you in return. You don't have to worry about that. We're friends. We know what it's like to be in your shoes. We're all part of the same club, after all. Right, Mr. Edgeworth? Unfortunately so, I'm afraid. Thank you for sharing such personal details with us. By the sound of it, you had little reason to kill Knight. If anything, you're the one most affected by his passing. And what's more, I simply don't believe a person as gentle as you is capable of murder. Rest assured, we believe you, and we will get you out of here. When's? Yeah. :3. Well, what do we have here? A gosh darn defense attorney, that's what. Bravo, big guy. Can't believe I'm saying it, but even you reminded me of your old man for a moment there. Trying to go for like the 4-Kid Sanji voice. Like a little bit. Not really. I did? From the Book of Gregory. An attorney is a friend to the friendless. Sammy and me, bucko, this guy'll suffer any hardship for your friendship. Things are gonna be shiply amazing. Enough with ships. We rode the brother ship for 62 hours. Enough about ships, please. I didn't realize Talk Like a Pirate Day had come early this year, Fender. That's just the thing. You never know when a pirate will strike next. You like that voice from him? Yeah, no. I know a lot of people hated the 4-Kids, like, editing, but the voices weren't the worst. They were just the 4-Kids cast. I don't remember much of the 4-Kids One Piece dub. I just remember Sanji's voice having that very specific cadence to it. Anyway, kid, you want some candy? What is he, like an old person? He just magically has those candies? No thanks. I don't like sweet stuff. Oh, huh. Bummer. I'd give you a hug, but there's glass between us. I wouldn't mind a nice ship myself. A great thief's galleon for the Dread Pirate K. Yahar, me hearties! We'll sail the 7 seas together and claim the greatest treasure of all. The truth. Really? Because according to Morgana, the greatest treasure of all is a spot in Smash Brothers. Which no one in Ace Attorney was able to pull off. Shiver me timbers, you two will be the death of me. Come on, let's set sail for the prison yard. But no sea shanties on the way, please. Wow, Edgeworth actually cracking a joke. Look, the shutter's open. Almost as if the plot is pushing us through there. That's the way out to the yard, I believe. Let's go take a look. Come on, what are you waiting for? Someone's excited. Fender works with such swagger. March 28th, 3:37 p.m. Prison - yard. Not the prison yard. So this is the famous yard. Circus performance was taking place here just before the body was discovered. Check it out! It's like the backdrop to some epic festival. Most of the prisoners were assembled here when the body was discovered, which means that anyone who saw the show has an alibi. Boop, 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 boop. Alright, time to take a look around. Ah! Okay. Stop hitting me! Help, Mr. Edgeworth! Just gonna let this go on for a minute. So hey, how do you like the fact that the Switch 2 is pretty much completely leaked at this point? There's so much, like every third party making accessories for it has revealed them now. So like the design for the finalized design of the Switch 2 is just like out there now. It's like completely exposed at this point. We're literally just waiting on Nintendo to say something now. It's wild that the leaks just got that like elaborate for this thing. Cease and desist. Don't know anything about the software still. Yeah, that's the weirdest part. The fact that we got all those hardware leaks and yet we know nothing about the software lineup for it. We know nothing. Nintendo's last game is what, Xenoblade X Definitive Edition, which comes out what, February, March? We know nothing beyond that. And Metroid Prime 4, which is still just 2025. Cease and desist, you beast. Ah, somebody, ouch, ow, me. Stay, Isaiah, stay. Who's that? She's here, and she's no longer underage. Oh, you found a new girl to play with. Good for you, girl. Play with? Your elephant nearly ate me. No way, she'd never do a thing like that. Isaiah doesn't even bite, at least not very often. So she does have a taste for human flesh. That was a weird read. How'd you like meeting a real live elephant up close? Aren't you glad you did? Yeah, glad I didn't die. But you did have fun, right? There, sweetie, don't cry. She had a wonderful time, didn't you, Kay? Don't mislead the poor girl, Fender. She did? Oh, I'm so happy. Here, let me make it up to you. How about a hug? Keep your trunk to yourself. Aw, another new friend? Isn't this just the best day ever? I am Associate Defense Attorney Miles Edgeworth. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I haven't even introduced myself. I'm Regina. It's so nice to meet you. I'm Kay, Great Thief Extraordinaire and Mr. Associate Defense Attorney's Great Associate. This game maybe has the second or third most memorable story to me in the series. It's really cool being able to see all the hints to what's to come. I'll say this, I thought about it, of all the side Ace Attorney games, like not counting, like in Japan, the games are titled Gyakuten Saiban, but the original trilogy and the second trilogy are 1 through 6. The Edgeworth games and the Great Ace Attorney games are not like the same series, technically. Of those spin-offs, I think this is the best one. I think this tops both of the Great Ace Attorney games, while the 2 Great Ace Attorney games are better than the first Edgeworth game. As for Layton versus Ace Attorney, I kind of can't really place that. I would say it's probably smack dab in the middle, even though it's a little weird. It's just weird. I would love to play that, stream that one day. Layton versus Ace Attorney, but that's completely disconnected, so I would wait until I stream every other one. But yeah, this is probably my favorite of the spin-off ones, even if it is technically canon, I guess. I don't know. I mean, nothing in these Edgeworth games come up in the second trilogy, so it's debatably canon, but also there's no reason it wouldn't be. The self-introduction brought to you by the word convoluted. And your elephant's newest friend is Mr. Fender, the defense attorney. Oh, she's not just any elephant. That's Isaiah, the Asian elephant. Isaiah stopped the second you told her to. You really have a way with animals, Regina. Most memorable to me is clearly the first game, since I've played that like 5-ish times, and this game is neck and neck with 3 following that. I don't know how I'd rate this counting the main games with it. I'll say that the original trilogy is definitely preferred to the second trilogy. I love all the Ace Attorney games, but the second trilogy definitely has some low lows compared to the first trilogy's like average lows. Well, I wouldn't want to be much of an animal tamer if I didn't. What's your Simeon's boss? That's right, Regina Berry. Ugh. Regina Berry, head of the Animal Taming Department, Showbiz Division, Berry Big Circus. It's so lovely to meet all of you. Just ranking how much I remember the story, not how much you like them. Oh, alright. Pleasure's all ours, mademoiselle. Name's Eddie Fender. I'm a bit of an ace attorney. Wink. So much for whipping me into shape. Yes, she's perfect. What are you muttering up to yourself about, Kay? That positivity, that charisma. Oh, she's got Riz. That energy. Regina, you'd make a perfect partner in crime for the great thief Yatagarasu. Great thief? That sounds like fun. My animals and I have stolen the spotlight quite a bit in our time. That's the one thing we don't want to steal. Gotta keep it on the down low, all stealthy ninja-like. Where's the fun without a show? The down low sounds like it might get me down. Bummer. I think we've got a fundamental difference of opinion going on here. Would indeed appear that negotiations have broken down. Maybe next time, Kay. Like that's whatever. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, let's get cracking. Too bad we can't see much of what's beyond the metal fence, though. Indeed, and we're in sore need of information in addition to evidence. Therefore, we should make an effort to talk with any persons of interest as well. Oh, we're just investigating again now. Oh, never mind. Regina's still underage. She was 16 in the second game. She's only 17 now. Head animal trainer at Berry Big Circus and Saint's boss. Remember how she has like two 30-year-old people hitting on her? That's certainly something. Hey! Who are you shouting at? Ponds like this usually have goldfish in them, right? I want to see if they'd come say hello. And they see water striders. Hey, water striders are cool. They can walk on water like ninjas. Whoosh, whoosh. Man, I wish I could do that. So much for the goldfish. Danger, high voltage. Never saw one of these in real life. Hey, that must be the fabulous garden outside the warden's office over there. Warden. Ah, yes, Warden Lagarde mentioned being able to see it from her window in the detention center side. Wish this dumb barbed metal fence wasn't in the way, though. I thought it was all one big yard. Given how protective the warden seemed of her little bit of earth, I imagine it's to keep riffraff like us out. I'd imagine it's more to keep the inmates from escaping, but, you know, that's just me. An Asian elephant named Isaiah in one of the Berry Big Circus's many animals. Certainly seems very fond of petting humans based on what we've seen. Well, most humans. Can't just glare at her like that, Mr. Edgeworth. She'll think you're trying to show her who's boss. You telling me she thinks I'm one of her kind? No, just that she respects you, I guess. How comforting. Doesn't Eddie call himself Ace Attorney in the fan translation, too? When it was in Japanese, don't think he calls himself a turnabout trial. Yeah. Store appears to be locked. Want me to open it? Can't guarantee anything, but I'll certainly give it a try. Now, if we deem it necessary, I'll simply ask for the key. Spoil sport. Could have been my chance to shine. You're free to shine somewhere else, but you'll not make an audience out of me. A wicker basket, or rather a cart given the wheels. Ooh, smells like animals. Suppose they must have been using it to move things around. Hey, would it be fun to hop in and race down a hill? Oh, you know what else would be fun? Racing down a hill on office chairs. Where did any of that come from? This must be the stage for the show. Think people would be interested in a great thieving show? I'm sure the police would be very eager to attend. Oh, Saw it's here. A simple, sturdily built well. Wonder if it was the work of the prisoners. Whoa. Wonder if it was the work of the prisoners. Somebody's left a bunch of tools lying around. Yeah, any inmate could grab that spike and just kill someone with it, so that's cool. Guess he could have still called himself that as a nod to the overseas name of the series. Maybe. Ace Attorney. I don't know how they would say that in Japanese, though. I don't think lawyer or attorney is pronounced like that. It's a heavy piece, long piece of rope, and a pretty heavy-looking weight. Let's see, it weighs 30 pounds. Oh, and there's some pulleys, too. Okay, can you stop touching everything in sight? Oh, come on. It's not like I was going to take anything. What exactly were they being used for, I wonder? These chairs must have been for the audience. Wow, I pity whoever had to put them all away. Really? Why? Heh, clearly never had to fold up a bunch of boring chairs before, huh? Not personally. I've told other people to do it, though. Come on, Mr. Edgeworth. You gotta roll up your sleeves and help out once in a while. I'll consider it. Edgeworth getting called the fuck out. If you're the head of the animal taming department, you must be Mr. Saint's boss. That's right. My dad founded the Very Big Circus, but he passed away. He was murdered. I'm sorry to hear that. But we have a new ringmaster now, and he's made the circus bigger and better than ever. He's such a nice man. He was a good friend of my dad's, too. Shitty joke teller, though. No one really liked his jokes. Wow, that's great. Lucky you. I know, right? It was his idea to set up departments, like animal taming, magic, and ventriloquy. What about, acrobatics? Don't see that up there anywhere. Only animal taming and ventriloquy have more than one person right now, though. But the Very Big Circus is getting bigger and better day by day. Sounds like you guys are really going places. They're getting on well. I'll leave them to it. Looks like the kind of guy who would randomly say English words, like Japanese Sonic or whatever. He was overseas, according to his profile, so maybe in the Japanese version he was in America. Can you tell me about the show? Oh, it's a wonderful thing. It even has a story. It's like how, in the American version, in the English version, Franziska von Karma was studying in Germany to be a prosecutor in America. But in the Japanese version, she's studying in America to be a prosecutor in Japan. And then later on, they started getting rid of the trips to real countries by making up countries like Borginia and Kurain, which shows up in the 6th game. And not just any story, it's a love story. Isn't that dreamy? Sounds like a regular riot. Who's the star of the show? Let me guess. You? No, silly. That would be Isaiah. And she falls in love with none other than Regent the Tiger. It's a heart-rending saga of forbidden interspecies romance. Whoa, Nelly. We're not of couples, but that takes the biscuit. And that's not all. There's a love triangle, too. It's so romantic. That sounds pretty incredible, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? So the elephant is the heroine? Suppose there's a first time for everything. And, who's the third wheel? Oh, that would be the big old meanie who tries to tear our star-crossed lovers apart. Oh, what animal do you think it is, Mr. Edgeworth? Given the circus, perhaps a lion? I think a raven would be cool, like the Yatagarasu. Nope. It's a sneaky monkey. That certainly lowered the stakes. Oh, you mean money, right? Nope, again, the role of the monkey is played by Simeon. Money's far too small to play against Isaiah and Regent, silly. Anyway, the evil villain tries to tear Isaiah and Regent apart. What will become of the fated twosome? It's so exciting, isn't it? Wow, it sure is. Why does that look like Larry? Right there. I mean, there's Carcerado right there on the right. That looks like Larry, though. He's not here, though. I know for a fact, because he shows up later. Wow, it sure is. Also, why would Larry be in prison? So Mr. Saint was more than just the little helper he claims to be. Poor Simeon. It'd be terrible if he couldn't perform with us anymore. Can you tell me about how you set things up for the performance? Well, that's not really my area. Simeon took care of all the lifting and carrying. He's such a sweetie. Raise it a little more. I just realized the volume is not that loud for this game right now for some reason. He's such a sweetie. He offered to do everything by telling me to concentrate on the show. I did see him doing something near that well, though. A well. I recall seeing one behind the stage. I should examine it in more detail. Should have seen him moving those huge cages around all by himself. He's a total hero. Yeah, sounds like something he would do. Weeping all the while. He was going back and forth between the yard here and some sort of workshop with all the equipment. The prison gave us special permission to use it for storage. But he was the only one who went down there, so I don't know much more than that. The workshop must be the one where Knight's body was found. Guess this confirms that Mr. Saint was the only performer to have gone into Workshop A. Well, this sucks. All we're getting is information about what works against us. You have to help sign me in, Mr. Attorney. We're all counting on you. Let's leave it to us. He may not look it, but Mr. Edgeworth knows how to get things done. And what exactly is he may not look it supposed to mean? There you are. Regina Cupcake. Oh, Warden Lagarde. I've been simply dying to sit you down for a chat, you exquisite little thing. Really cool detail about Eddie in Japanese. His name contains the kanji for shield, as opposed to how Edgeworth's contains the kanji for sword. Oh, cool. Mitsurugi. Reiji Mitsurugi. Mr. Attorney, sir. And how are you today, if you don't mind me asking? Today? We just talked to you earlier, Mr. Sawit. Oh, heavens, I do apologize. Ever since I came to this place, came to call this place home, I've been working on my interpersonal skills, you see. In order to be as annoying as possible. Wow. I'm currently helping out with the circus show stage teardown and cleanup. But if you have need of me, I'll do my utmost to help. I'm just chipping in and do what I can, model prisoner that I am. Yes, my stay in this prison has seen me reborn. The Frank Sawit you see before you is a changed man. A changed man who now targets the recently deceased. No, you misunderstand. That was just a moment of madness. Moment of madness? You're a disgrace to all thieves everywhere. You're right, of course. I can't deny it. I still have a long way to go. As a thief? Anyway, as you can see, I have a shiny new bracelet now. So it's just straight and narrow for me. Like I say, I'm a model prisoner. Not that a real model prisoner would need to keep telling me that. I'm doing everything I can to prepare for my eventual return to society. Yeah, you even skipped the show to focus on your training, didn't you? That's right, only 2 inmates were absent, Sawit and Canis. I'm gonna keep doing that, it's Canis. Sorry. Why didn't you tell us about Mr. Canis sooner? Look, I don't think there's an inmate in this prison who'd talk about him if they didn't have to. He's, well, you could say he's the real one in charge around here. You didn't hear it from me, but, well, I guess it comes with being the Fixer. The Fixer? Yes, anything you need, he can get it for you. But how does he get away with it? I'm not sure, but he's the only one who does. I heard he has a secret way of getting things into the facility. Imagine being the Fixer affords Canis all sort of certain privileges. Not that I concern myself with such things anymore, of course. I'm far more interested in perfecting my mud pack application technique. And what are these mud packs exactly? They're a special type of mud treatment, rich with minerals, works wonders on their coats. I've been practicing on the animals here in the prison. Hope to treat them all eventually. Speaking of mud, that reminds me of a certain piece of evidence. Maybe I should try presenting it to him. Even with the modern sprite, something about him still radiates the vibe of being one of the first characters they've ever designed for the series, yeah. It's fun. They keep all the animations, it's just his outfit looks different. Also, if I'm not mistaken, they change his age a bit. Like the original release of Ace Attorney 1, he's not 44. He's like younger or older, I can't remember. Something caked in mud. I don't remember what that would be. Are they referring to a piece of evidence I don't have yet? He was 44 in the first game. Yes, in the English release of it. In the original GBA version, I think his age was older. Or something. There is a case where they changed someone's age, and I can't remember what it was. Do you mind if I ask a little bit about the prison? No, not at all. This place is my pride and joy. My home. Sure, it was a prison when I first arrived, and it was awful, an utter disgrace. Awful? Suppose you mean the prisoners were unruly? Most certainly do not. They're angels, every one of them, and they always have been. No, it was the ambience that was awful. I fretted, I brooded. Yeah, the GBA version, he was 36 for some reason. They changed it specifically for the DS version. I guess they thought he was too young, or too old looking to be 36. I fretted, I brooded, and then it hit me. The animals. If anyone could brighten up the place, it was them. It's nice having them around. Isn't it just? And now look at my fabulous little family. When my darling Frankie is the very picture of rehabilitation. Except when he's rifling through dead men's pockets. You have so many success stories among the family, but darling Frankie really is a marvel. He's thrown himself into his vocational training and is always the first to volunteer for everything. What, and your other model prisoners don't do that? Huh? Oh, of course they do, my dear. Of course. They're all such triers, such doers. It's just that, Frankie, let's just say he knows what's good for him. What exactly does she mean by that? They forgot to change it in the Wii and 3DS version, so we went back to being 36 there. Wow. He aged 11 years in the course of being imprisoned for 2. Anyway, he's a very nice boy, so do try to be nice to him, won't you? Loud, soaring music, great leaping animals, the Very Big Circus truly has it all. And everybody who comes here gets to see it once a month. Really? In that case, let me see. She better not be thinking of something to confess to. This monthly show, is it always performed by the Very Big Circus? Of course, sweetie, I'm Regina's biggest fan. That girl's my little princess, my superstar. She's so wonderfully talented. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. And she's so adorable, so sweet, I could just gobble her right up. You're not lying when you're saying you're her biggest fan, huh? Which is why I'm worried about her. So worried. It's all because of poor Simeon, you see. If he's found guilty, why, darling Regina will be devastated. So you simply must make sure that doesn't happen, Mr. Lawyer. Please, I'm begging you. If there's anything you could do to help anything I could do to help clear up this awful misunderstanding, please let me know. So it's you I have to thank for all the new additions to the family. How wonderful. I beg your pardon, but family? Yes, darling, the family here at this happy home of ours. It's so lively thanks to people like you. I look forward to welcoming more. Let them come in their hundreds. No, their thousands. I simply love the buzz of activity, the joy of a growing, happy family. An animal companion for every member. But of course! Dream big or go home, I guess, even if that dream is for the world's biggest zoo. That's a face. Also, fun trivia for him. The only reason his forehead has a birthmark is because playtesters couldn't tell if it was the same guy in the intro when he first showed up in court. He does look different in that first cutscene. Well, that certainly got a response. And what can you tell me about this member of your little family? Those who don't accept the gift of love we offer here don't get to be called family. I see. So even she couldn't tame this one. I've given all my love to this place. In fact, no one who's ever entered it has ever left. Our bonds are as strong as iron. That's a very roundabout way of saying that security is tight. Oh, security is such an ugly word. No, the bonds of love are what keep us here. This whole facility is surrounded by them. Very tall, very sturdy bonds of love, made of metal. Maybe not so they'll maybe not be so sturdy in the case of Saw's bracelet. I'd like your opinion on this if you'd be so kind. But of course, don't be shy, darling. Madam, release my hand at once. That's not what I was asking you to examine. Oh, I do apologize. Silly me. But you know how it is. A little hug and smooch is entirely de rigueur. De rigueur. I don't know how to pronounce that. French. Well, I must certainly require neither hugs nor smooches. Thank you very much. What do you gotta say about the badge? For me? Oh, thank you very much. I didn't say you could have it. So it's not for me? No. My apologies. It was my fault for needlessly waving it in your face. It's okay. I forgive you. This time. Wait, why am I apologizing? Wow, what a cutie patootie! A cutie what? Patootie, silly. But I wouldn't try to make friends with this particular pooch if I were you. He doesn't just let anyone in. The only person he trusts is his owner. I could see it in his eyes. You could see how smart he is, too. A regular wonder pup. Is that so? You could see all that just at a glance. Sure I can. After all, I'm the head of the animal taming department. You know, you kind of have the same look in your eyes. I trust lots of other people. Oh, the body's covered in dirt. Oh, I'm afraid I wouldn't know anything about that. As I said, I have nothing to do with this incident. I don't think that's quite true, is it? Oh, but it is. What you see is what you get with me. No bluster, no lies, no false pretenses. I'm a model prisoner. No false pretenses. That rug on his head would say otherwise. Maybe I better keep that to myself. Oh, it's the glove, isn't it? Stained with blood and mud. Yep. That's the rubber glove I dropped. Would you care to explain why it's so dirty? Well, of course, that's mud from one of the pet treatments I've been practicing. I was giving one of the animals a mud pack right when the incident happened. I see. Around what time would that have been? Let's see, the show had already started, so around 9 AM, perhaps? The thing is, the more mud I applied, the more in the zone I got, and the darker the animal's fur became. There's no trance quite like the trance one enters when one slathers an animal with thick black mud. The stress of prison might be getting to him. Sullied after being warned by Sot when administering a dark mud pack treatment, also bloodstained. Of course, it's all thanks to the warden that we have access to such wonderful distractions. I'm eternally grateful, truly I am. Regina, darling, you put on the most splendid show for us yet again. The stage, the stars, and you in particular, my princess. It was simply divine. That's so nice of you. Hope everyone else who watched it enjoyed it too. About that, dear, I'm afraid I have something awful to confess. There were some absences, you see. She must mean Canis and Sot. We were 3 members short. Unbelievable, I know. How will you ever forgive me? I'm sorry, but you're saying 3 inmates didn't attend the show? That's right, sweetie. I counted the seats myself. 1, 2, 3 no-shows. And I always make sure there are enough seats for everybody. Mr. Edgeworth, that's not right, is it? Indeed, as far as we're aware, Mr. Canis and Mr. Sot were the only ones not present. This doesn't add up. Who was the 3rd missing prisoner, and what were they doing? It seems we need to investigate further. Oh, I was enjoying my chat with dear Regina so much I almost forgot. I must feed the little one. Me? Nom nom. Feed me. Little one. Yikes! Oh, no, that was Kay that said that. I just thought it was Fender because he was the one that like made that movement. Yikes! Alligator! You're looking as adorable as ever, Allie, my sweet. Aw, she's so pretty, and what a cute name. Yes, Allie the alligator. Isn't she a darling? How would you not know she was here? Regina, if you've been doing this show every month. She's my favorite, aren't you? Yes, you are. I'm so jealous. Can I pet her? Of course, princess, of course. Boy, howdy. These two are made for one another. They look like they'll be busy for a while. Maybe we should go back inside the prison and check the cells. Yes, let's. Perhaps we could find a clue there as to who our 3rd missing prisoner might be. March 28th, 4:02 p.m., prison, corridor. Sir, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. I finally caught up with you. Detective, you're not needed elsewhere? No, the judge and the kid aren't here yet. Oh, and I got your message. So you searched the victim's cell. Did you manage to turn up anything? We struck gold, sir. Well, blood anyway. It was right here on the floor. Only in tiny specks, though, but at least it's something. Yeah, it proves that the holding cell was the scene of the crime, right? Not quite. It proves a possibility, but that's not conclusive yet. Thought you'd say that, sir, which is why I ordered some follow-up work. I asked for forensics to analyze the blood and see if it matches the victims. They're on it as we speak. Nice work, Gummy. You really thought of everything. Detective, I must say I'm impressed. Did you hit your head or something? Gee, you don't look so surprised, sir. Just hope things continue to go in our favor. We're currently checking whose blood it is. Alrighty, so that's proof that the murder happened in the detention center. And for our next trick, we'll find out how that dog got over here. We got that dog in us. Don't worry, you can leave that one to me too. Until the kid and his chaperone get here, we got the whole prison to ourselves. Which is why I brought my secret weapons along. Secret weapons? That's right, a few tools of the trade that have helped me bust more than a few cases wide open. Behold, the 7 secret weapons of Dick Gumshoe, ace detective extraordinaire. I don't know about you crazy cats, but I'm sold. Miles? Very well, detective. We'll try using your secret weapons. You got it, sir. Let me run you through the list. Secret weapon number 1. My trusty old metal detector. If it's made of steel, silver, or scrap, this little guy right here will find it. So it detects metal. Very good, detective. Twitch just gave me a big introducing channel points graphic as if that hasn't been a thing for years now. Yeah, they've been weird with some of the tutorial stuff popping back up in chats. I've seen it myself happen a few times. Next up, secret weapon number 2. Missile, everyone's favorite crime-fighting canine. He can track pretty much any scent you put in front of him, especially food. Sure, it's a lot cuter than Mr. Canis's dog. Now for secret weapon number 3. Where'd I put it? Aha! Am I one snapper short of a school, or is that a fishing rod? Don't tell me we're gonna go fishing for clues. No, I mean, I just happen to have it with me is all. I see. Well, onwards and upwards, detective. Let's see what else you have. That's all she wrote, sir. Gummy, you're 4 secret weapons short of your so-called 7, and one of them was a fishing rod. Sorry, but that's all for today, okay? I'll, show you the rest next time. Why do you think I call them secret? Guy can't just have everything Guy can't just go sharing everything at once. That's crazy. Well, one of them is the signal thing from Ace Attorney 2. The one that you used to find the bug in the bear's eyeball. In that case, then I suppose the 3 you've deigned to reveal to us will have to do for now. Alright, which one do you want to try, sir? I mean, missile, obviously. You got it, sir. Hey, missile! Here, boy! There he is. Oh, he really came. So what are we tracking? We're trying to find out how Mr. Canis's dog got to the holding cells in the first place. I suspect the same route was used to bring Knight's body back to the prison. So we give the pooch a sniff of the body, and he'll find that route for us. Missile was in fact the correct answer. The fishing rod does jack all shit, so that obviously wasn't the right one. Does anyone else smell something sweet? All I smell is the odor of blood. It's faint, but it's there. Almost like cake, maybe? Why would the body smell of cake? Okay, Missile, get a noseful. Here we go. Follow that dog. That's the way to... He's headed for maximum security. Uh-oh, he's going in. Then we'll just have to follow after him. March 28th, 4:24 p.m. Prison, maximum security. I like how this is like the only room in the maximum security area. It's just a separate cell. Like what makes it maximum security? There's an extra camera? Oh boy. This is Canis's cell, though the man himself is absent, it seems. Is he meeting with someone in the visitor's room? Do you think Missile's onto something? Shh, Looks like maybe he is. There he is, angry missile. Is there something here? Let's get snooping, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Canis's chess set, complete with his special dog piece. That's not a chess set, that's a whole chess table with legs. Looks like it might be worth something, too. It's not inconceivable, some of them are. And this is quite a nice one. Never would have pegged Mr. Canis as a chess fan, though. With the whole Eastern aesthetic he's got going on, I thought he'd been more into Go. Go, huh? Can you play? I can play Go Fish? Not the same thing, Kay. Not even close. Go isn't even the equivalent of chess in Japan. Go is the equivalent of checkers in Japan. Shogi is the chess equivalent of in Japan, and I know that because Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics has all 4 of those games in it, and they are excellent. Shogi is hard as shit to play, by the way. It is like absolutely chess level difficult. Found that Shutokumi's real life missile passed away a few years ago. Aw, that's sad. Do we know what missile's actual breed was? Because, you know, there's a missile in this game, and then there's also a missile in Ghost Trick, but they're 2 different breeds. Ghost Trick in this game is missile in this game is a Shiba Inu, and in Ghost Trick he's a Pomeranian. So it's weird that they include it's weird that they include a dog, like a dog. It's not the same. Obviously, it's not the same character, and I'm not spoiling anything in Ghost Trick. Don't worry. There just happens to be a dog also named Missile in that game. Missile was a Pomeranian, but real Missile was named after the game. He got him later. Oh, interesting. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Ace Attorney came out in 2001, so if he had gotten Missile, if he had Missile before then, and the dog only passed away a couple years ago, would have been like well over 20, which isn't inconceivable, but definitely wouldn't be the likely outcome there. Tea and rice crackers. Mr. Canis clearly doesn't lack for comforts. He got Missile in 2007. Huh. Can think of worse ways to spend time in jail than drinking tea and playing chess. Thought this was maximum security, not maximum comfort. How come nobody else gets this special treatment? Complaining to me isn't going to help. Perhaps you could take it up with the man himself. Yikes. No thanks. Mr. Canis's chisels. Everyone a potential murder weapon. That reminds me of something. The furrows in your brow. When you frown, it looks like somebody took a chisel to your forehead. I have no idea what you mean. See, they're so deep. Don't tell me you don't see it, Mr. Wood-carving face. Have you quite finished? Look, Mr. Edgeworth, the chisel on the floor is a bit smaller than the others. I'm no woodworker, but perhaps it's an all-purpose one that could be used in a pinch, regardless of the job. All-purpose pocket chisel. Makes sense. Always nice when your tools are useful and easy to carry. Is that your opinion as a thief? Nope, it's my opinion as a great thief. Walked into right into that one. What's the matter, boy? Wait, is this the cake you were after? Bark, 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 bark. I had to play Shogi to 100% Yakuza. Instead of learning, I just downloaded a Shogi app to your phone, set the AI to the hardest difficulty, and mirrored its moves. Wow. Clever. Whoa, down, boy! Stop that! Bark, bark, bark. Bark, bark, bark. No, you can't have it. Dogs can't eat chocolate. You know that. If you won't behave, I'll just have to eat it myself. Not bad. The angry missile sprite, yeah. That's some real outside the chocolate box thinking there. Not sure everybody agrees, though. Gummy, I wanted some. Daring both of you to assume the food in prison is safe to eat. Well, daring or dumb. So anyway, it looks like it really was cake Missile was tracking. Talk about a waste of time. Suppose we got our just desserts. I had this conversation a long time ago on stream. about the fact that just desserts is spelled with one S. So it looks like just deserts. But then we looked up the meaning and we realized it is actually correct. Well, guy's definitely capable, right? Sure he is. This was just a blip. He'll follow the right scent this time, I promise. Seek, boy! Why do they have to run around? Did we really get nothing out of that? Wow. Oh, I think he's onto something. The reason Missile's the right choice is because he was purposely not the right choice in the last time, the other game. Whatever it is, it's in there. Mr. Carcerado's cell. Need to take a look inside. Detective, call the guard. Yes, sir! Thank you, officer. Question before we begin. Is the prisoner Mr. Carcerado still in solitary? No, sir. He came back a little while ago. And he was here for noon roll call. Guess he must be on work duty someplace. I see. Now, if you'd be so kind as to open his cell. Yes, sir. Missile's part of Phoenix's moveset in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and his alternate colors are based on Amaterasu. Really? I didn't know that. Oh, the cells are a lot bigger than they look. Okay. He's got a bag of the fucking warden. I'm surprised they gave prisoners heaters. Usually unusually kind, or unusually careless. Wonder if he uses it all year round. To help him lose water weight, maybe. Yeesh, hope his furry friend can deal with the heat. Sure they've learned to sweat things out together by now. This punching bag. Wow. This punching bag certainly seems some use. Hehe. What breed were you again, Missile? Sure it wasn't a boxer? No way. No way indeed. Quickly, detective, move that sandbag aside. Yes, sir. A hole. Could this be? Whoa there. Wait, Missile. I'm going in too. Wait, stop. Sir, I'll go get her. Oof, that's tight. Shouldn't have eaten that cake. He's gone. Well, I'm not going in there. Guess we'll just have to wait. Hello, Kay. Are you alright? You're not gonna believe this, but we're in the detention center. The detention center? That hole, it's a tunnel that leads right into Mr. Knight's cell. What? Don't go anywhere. I'm on my way. That is a very striking, color scheme. Oh, I just realized Maya is, Lynn. Actually, isn't this all Ghost Trick related? Because he's clearly got the yellow hair, so that's Sissel, Lynn, and then Amaterasu. It's weird that they wouldn't just use other Missile for that, if this is supposed to be like the Ghost Trick costume. Also, I saw this image you retweeted earlier, and yeah, that's something alright. Composers for this game include Junichi Mashita, left, Ed Sheeran, right, and Toby Fox, center. That's certainly something. It's soap. It's like foam. He took a photo of himself covered in foam, and he's like, yeah, spread this everywhere. So I think it's like his wiki image right now. March 28th, 5:04 p.m., detention center, holding cell. I'm sorry I didn't get to investigate everything in that cell. Truth be told, I don't think there was anything important in there. Anything needed for like an achievement. So I don't mind skipping out in a little flavor text to move the story ahead here. Okay. Hey there, Mr. Edgeworth. Guess you could say we made a breakthrough. Quite. At least they came out unscathed, I think. Sir, the floorboards under the bed were torn up. Wow, how did the guards not see any of that? So that's how they did it. There's no doubt about it. This must be the route we've been looking for. Corridor connecting the detention center and the prison is locked down by heavy security doors. But with the help of this tunnel, it can be circumvented. It was a sweet scent that started this whole search. Could it be that the scent was in fact coming from Knight's body after all? A sweet scent can be detected. Incidentally, Knight's body was covered in dirt that might have come from being dragged through this tunnel. Okay, what was it like down there? Well, it was pitch black, so I couldn't see a whole lot. Luckily, my camera has a flash, so I took some pictures. Let's see what you've captured. Look at that. Spoons, a fork. Guess these are for digging the tunnel. That aside, are those footprints? Paw prints, even. From a dog, perhaps. Photo of the tunnel between the prison and detention center. It seems to depict the paw prints of a dog. This is a vital piece of evidence. However, it begs something of a question. It does? Mr. Carcerado has certainly been making use of this tunnel, which means... Detective, we need to find out where Mr. Carcerado is immediately. My suspicions are correct. Huh? Aw, nuts! Guards were alerted and began searching for Mr. Carcerado right away. But after a thorough investigation of both the prison and the detention center, he was nowhere to be found. March 28th, 5:34 p.m., detention center, corridor. Why would Gavel and Winter be on their way here this late in the day? Like, what would they have to do here? Sorry, also 1 second, I have to adjust my seat. The hydraulics on the seat have been getting fucked up. Pneumatics. And it's been sinking just on its own. It sucks. It happens a lot. Oh, my finger now hurts because I touched it. Look at the other costumes from MZC. Maya has a look based on K, but she's paired with Phoenix's Godot skin for some reason. That's weird. Hope this pain in my pointer finger goes away. Well, have the police been notified? Yes, ma'am. We just finished liaising with them a moment ago. They set up a cordon around the entire facility. Good. The first blemish on a prison's spotless reputation is always the ugliest. It won't happen again, ma'am. Rather different Warden Lagarde than the one we've seen so far. Mr. Edgeworth, was it? I really can't thank you enough for finding that tunnel, darling. Sadly, it may have been too little too late. It seems he might already have left the building. I'd say that's unlikely, Warden. After all, there's a security gate at the exit to the detention center. You're not suggesting he simply walked through it? What's to say there was only the one tunnel, sweetie, Suppose that's true. Well, whatever the case, this is no time to be standing around chit-chatting. Mr. Edgeworth, would you mind continuing with your investigation? It'd be my pleasure. And you three could get back to your posts. Yes, ma'am. Detective, the results of the blood test just came back from the lab. Thanks, pal. Let's see what they have to tell us about the blood found in Knight's cell. What does it say, Mr. Edgeworth? They've identified the blood, and it is indeed Knight's. Nice job, everybody. Teamwork makes the dream work, huh? Got Knight's blood in his holding cell, and a tunnel a dog clearly went through. And security footage showing Knight being attacked by the dog in his cell. Case closed. We have all the evidence we need. Let's see what Mr. Canis has to say for himself. Canis? Oh, darlings, are you sure? Do be careful around him, won't you? He's as well connected on the outside as he is in here. I suppose he would have to be. How else will the so-called fixers stay in business? Police have been trying to track down his accomplices for the longest time. I even had to lend them a hand myself, you know. So that's what this was all about. borrowed evidence from the police to help with your investigation, is that correct? Why, yes, sweetie. Everything related to Candace is with me now. Heaven knows how many times I've hauled that secretive scoundrel into my office to talk to me. But no matter what I say or how much evidence I present him with, he simply won't say a word. Prison warden conducting interrogations herself. That's irregular, to say the least. Let your guard down, he'll devour you whole. Be careful, darlings. You have been warned. Ooh-wee, here I thought things couldn't get any spicier. March 28th, 5:55 p.m., prison. Maximum security. Live near prison, occasionally passed by a hitchhiker's maybe escaped inmate sign. I actually wonder how often escapees even happen generally. Who knows? It's good to just admit it happens rather than say, oh, well, no one ever breaks out of our prison. It's like, no, it will happen. Eventually. Somehow. Judge Gavel, I didn't expect to find you here. We've been conducting inquiries, which, given that we are in charge of the investigation, is hardly strange. What's strange is that you are still here, Mr. Edgeworth. I gave you a warning, did I not? I told you that your badge was at risk, should our paths cross again, and yet here you are. I'm sorry that you thought I might be so easily discouraged, Your Honor. But I'm not about to let the truth slip from my grasp, no matter what you or the committee might say. I'm here to present a certain someone with evidence that you yourself should have uncovered. You have more business with me, I take it, Mr. Edgeworth? I do. I promised I'd be back to prove that you were the killer, and here I am. This should be amusing. Very well, whenever you are ready. Objection! Not so fast! We have some truths of our own to share. First-rate deductions, in fact. Indeed, we're now more certain than ever that Simeon Saint was the murderer, and that only he could have moved Mr. Knight from his holding cell to the prison proper. We shall prove this to you beyond a shadow of a doubt. But first, a question. Are you quite determined to continue on this course, Mr. Edgeworth? Should you fail to rebut our deductions, there will be no going back. Your very career hangs in the balance. What? You mean he'll take his badge if you don't like how this goes? That's intimidation! Not at all. If anything, I'm showing him mercy. This is not Mr. Edgeworth's case. It never was, and I'm under no obligation to hear him out. If he's prepared to accept the potential ramifications of his actions, I will allow him one last chance. Well, are you truly willing to take the risk? To put your beloved badge on the line? Mr. Edgeworth? Sir! Her music theme is really good. Yeah, it is. I accept your terms. I'm confident in my reasoning, and what's more, I'm representing the firm of Edgeworth and Company, and I do not intend to besmirch its name. My duty will be done, and I will not be intimidated. Very well, let us see whether you are brave or simply reckless. By the power vested in me by the almighty goddess of justice, let this judgment commence. Eustace, if you will allow me. Fine by me. He's all yours, Gavel. How Knight wound up in the prison proper. You are aware of the incident involving Mr. Knight the day before yesterday, I assume? He assaulted an innocent guard and stole his keys. Later, in the middle of moving a large animal cage, Mr. Saint stopped by Mr. stopped by Mr. Knight's cell for a little visit. That's when Mr. Knight stole out of his cell using the keys he'd stolen. He slipped into the cage, and there he hid as he was. Oh my god, I'm sorry. He slipped into the cage, and there he hid as he was wheeled into one of the prison workshops. It figures she was going to bring up Mr. Saint going to Knight's cell. Yesterday, after you so kindly made us aware of the security camera footage, we decided to take a look at it ourselves. Perhaps you would like to see what we found? This is a still from the footage we received. Mr. Saint speaking with Knight at his cell. March 26th, 10:14 and 16 seconds p.m. Correct. You will also note that he has positioned the cage in such a way as to obscure the camera's view. Is this the blind spot that Mr. Knight exploited in order to enter the cage undetected? Oh. It is this blind spot that Mr. Knight exploited in order to enter the cage undetected. A sound deduction based on what can be observed, wouldn't you say? A blind spot, which means that the camera wouldn't have been able to capture the moment Knight entered the cage if he did at all. So it's still possible that he didn't actually leave his cell at this point. I don't get it. Why would Mr. Knight want to hide in the cage? There's really only one possibility. He intended to escape. A prison break. That's so cool. Mr. Carcerado, Mr. Knight, everybody's doing it. I have to step up my game. Okay, now's not the time. Mr. Carcerado's escape is no laughing matter. It's my belief that Mr. Saint helped Mr. Knight with his escape attempt. That is to say, he was his accomplice. Wow, go Simeon! That wasn't a compliment. I understand that the cage was briefly taken to one of the workshops. I imagine that had things gone to plan, Mr. Knight would have remained in the cage until after the show, and then removed from the premises along with the rest of the circus's equipment. Unfortunately for Mr. Knight, Mr. Saint had other ideas. He killed his friend in cold blood. Judge Gavel's argument seems reasonable. But there must be a fault in our logic somewhere, and I'm going to find it. Rebuttal. Excuse me. Starting to get tired. Oof. I'm gonna grab a drink here. Oi, 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 oi. Actually, you know what? I don't know when the last time I took painkillers was. I'm gonna grab 2. I'll be right back. This is literally gonna be like seconds, so I'm just gonna pause the recording here. Okay, sorry about that. I'm not gonna take them right this second. I'm gonna wait until maybe like 2, just because I don't remember when I took the last 2. I've been taking Advil because it has been helping the pain in my finger, like, numb a bit. So it's useful. I'm going to get some Dr. Pepper when we do groceries this week. So I'll be enjoying more hot Dr. Pepper as the winter goes on. I've been told that's actually pretty good if your throat's sore because you know it's like syrupy. Though I could just use regular tea for that, but at the same time, the hot DP is pretty good. I enjoyed it the few times I've had it. I bring it up because the first time I tried it was when I was streaming the last Edgeworth game. Involving... okay.
Hold it!
Your Honor, about this incident. You've heard about it, of course. Surely any attorney worth his salt would have had his sources. Yes, I'm aware of it, of course. I simply wish to confirm. And you are wasting both of our time. Shall we continue?
Hold it!
Do you have any proof that Knight stole the keys? I can think of no other reason for him to carry out such a brutal attack. Once the guard he assaulted regains consciousness, I'm sure he will confirm our suspicions. I wouldn't be so sure. Perhaps I should press her for further reasoning. Sorry, but I believe there's a flaw in your reasoning. If Knight had the keys, there was nothing to stop him from leaving whenever he wanted. Why wait for Mr. Saint? There was no need, surely. He chose the option he deemed most likely to succeed. He stole the keys and hid them somewhere, then waited for an opportune moment to present itself. He hid the keys. I'm afraid you might have made an uncharacteristic oversight, Your Honor. Knight wasn't hiding any keys. This has been proven already. And this is the piece of evidence that proves Knight didn't have the keys.
Take that!
Since you know about the incident, I assume you must already know this, but after the assault, the guards searched both Knight and his cell, and no keys were found. And if the whereabouts of the keys cannot be proven, then neither can your theory. I've considered that matter of the missing keys, and I do not think it's such an issue. I still believe he had them. After all, the guards only stated that they were unable to locate them. And this is because they were cleverly hidden. This is because they were cleverly hidden inside the pocket chess set. Knight's chess set. The same set in which the murder weapon was also allegedly hidden. Was it? I can't help but wonder about that. What? But you're the one who proposed it! Actually, if you recall, it was Eustace's assertion. So the two of them aren't of one mind of this, I take it. Allow me to restate the facts. Mr. Knight had hid the keys he stole from the guard inside his chess set. Might be too loud. Turn it down a bit. There we go. When Mr. Saint came to see him, Mr. Knight used the keys to open his cell, then climbed inside the cage. He was then moved from his holding cell to the workshop in the prison proper, all with the help of his friend and accomplice. Had things gone according to plan, he would have been taken out of the facility after the show. But they did not. Instead, his accomplice murdered him while the show was taking place in the yard.
Objection!
But Mr. Saint was a part of that performance. How would he even have the time to commit the murder?
Overruled!
How indeed? Allow me to explain. As you know, many stage performances follow a set narrative. Yesterday's show was one such example. She's done her homework, I see. The suspect played the role of an antagonist opposing the elephantine heroine of the show. In the latter part of the performance, the heroine's love prevails and the villain is defeated. This victory is depicted in a very unique manner, whereby the villain is sent flying from the stage by the heroine. He's sent flying by the elephant. Isn't that dangerous? Having been ejected from the stage in this manner, the villain no longer appears in the performance. In other words, the suspect did not appear on stage for a period of approximately 15 minutes. And you're saying the crime took place during that time? Yes, I'm afraid so. After all, it's more than a sufficient window, wouldn't you say?
Objection!
Committing the crime and returning to the stage in that short 15-minute window is only possible, assuming that the murder took place in the prison proper. Hey, Xinjing Mong, thank you for the raid. How you doing tonight? I'm a little languished, but I'm okay. Shout! No, shout out! Oh my god. Twitch. Don't auto-insert someone. Don't auto-insert that, please. Getting frustrated with Lizapede. I'm in the second poison part. Oh god. There's more than one? Please follow Xinjing Mong if you haven't, if you're in chat. Then again, tonight's been kind of a quiet night. I don't think there's anyone here that doesn't know you already. But in fact, Your Honor, the real scene of the crime was Knight's cell. Taken from the playbook. Did you deal with the hitman? Kinda. He's right there. He's right behind us in the cage. I seem to remember telling you that I would not accept that part of the security footage into evidence.
Objection!
And you won't have to. I have proof of a different kind. Eh. Very well, would you be so good as to present it? What proof do you have that the murder took place in the victim's holding cell?
Take that!
This appears to be a photograph of a floor. Almighty goddess of justice, grant me patience. The floor you're so dismissive of, Your Honor, has traces of Knight's blood on it. Traces, you say? Is this evidence reliable? After all, I don't believe you have access to the necessary forensics operatives.
Objection!
I have my resources. A certain blunt instrument, you might say, but a reliable one. The detective. How very unfortunate for him. Perhaps before you decide to circumvent the law, you might have considered that the committee's influence extends to the police. Oh no, now Gummy's badge is on the line too. Forgive me, Detective, I didn't mean to put you at risk as well. I will enter the fact that Mr. Knight's blood wasn't found in the holding cell into evidence. However...
Objection!
Bad luck, idiots! You're really on the edge now, Mr. Worthless. Mr. Winner, I'd forgotten you were there. It was nice while it lasted. I just butted in to tell you that your entire argument is one big inconsistency. You showed us camera footage of a dog killing Mr. Knight in his cell. Are you saying the mutt also wiped the blood up before it left the scene? Uh-oh. What other tricks can it do, huh? A blood-wiping dog? You're a joke. You'd have wiped up that blood, wouldn't you, boy? Yes, Helmut. Yes, you would. What? That was one of the tricks I taught him before our work together was so rudely cut short. He's a very tidy boy, you know. Never misses a drop. It wouldn't do to leave any evidence, after all. Saved by an assassin of all people. Jeez Louise. Could have just taught the little guy to shake hands. Oh, he does that marvelously, too. Although, the way I taught him to do it is somewhat unorthodox. First, he bites down hard on the victim's hand. Then... La 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 la, I'm not listening! I see. Very well then, Mr. Edgeworth. It seems you may have gathered some evidence worth considering. Your understanding is much appreciated. Wait, I'm not done yet! I just thought of something else! Overruled. Oh boy, somebody's taking no prisoners. Eustace, would you be so kind as to allow me? All yours, Gavel. Well, do you accept the truth now? The crime took place in Knight's holding cell, and the assassin's dog was the killer.
Overruled.
My position is the same as it was yesterday. Until you can explain how the dog moved between the prison and detention center, I cannot accept your theory into evidence.
Hold it!
Thought you might say that, which is why I'd like to show you something else. This piece of evidence shows that the dog could freely travel between the prison and the detention center.
Take that!
This is... It's a secret passageway. It runs beneath the prison. Whoa, what? A secret passageway? It was dug by one Mr. Rocco Carcerato, escapee. Leads from his prison cell to a certain holding cell in the detention center. Yes, the very one where the victim was being held. Well, this is certainly a surprise. To think that it was beneath our feet this entire time. Mr. Canis, you knew of this tunnel, didn't you? Because it's the same tunnel that was used to carry out the murder.
Overruled.
In the name of the Goddess of Justice, overruled. Mr. Edgeworth, you are out of line.
Hold it!
How so, Your Honor?
Overruled.
Evidence is everything, whether in a court of law or at the scene of investigation. Isn't that your little catchphrase? Well, it just so happens I have to have some evidence of my own. Bronco Knight's autopsy report. His autopsy report? Where did we get that? How do you not know when you had it? Police handed it to me only a short while ago. The findings are still preliminary, but it has something of value to tell us nonetheless. Goddess of Justice speaks to us through these pages, Mr. Edgeworth. Cause of death, stab wound to the throat, and the weapon is said to be a sharp blade of some sort. It seems the victim was stabbed repeatedly in the same spot, resulting in an ugly wound. As such, the police have yet to identify the exact shape of the weapon. But its overall nature seems to be beyond question. It is a bladed metal instrument. In light of this evidence, do you truly wish to continue in your flight of fantasy? Or you now claim that the dog used a knife instead? But that's impossible! That'll be all. This court is adjourned. Bladed metal instrument.
Objection!
But the tunnel, the paw prints. One of them. Helmet is something of a wanderer. Perhaps he just happened to cross this tunnel one day. Although I couldn't say for certain. I myself cannot wander quite so freely. That would be quite a coincidence, but I can't prove it's not the case either. She sure knows how to keep a secret, huh? Kinda wish she kicked us in the teeth a little earlier with that. She was baiting me, waiting for the perfect moment to crush me with that autopsy report. And I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. You are lead attorney for the case defense, correct, Mr. Fender? This is the interim autopsy report in question. I do apologize for the delay. Yeah, no sweat. Thanks for hooking us up. Interim report suggests that the cause of death was a stab wound to the neck inflicted by a sharp blade. Death was instantaneous. Yep, that all checks out. Yep. Mr. Fender, a handshake is not necessary when receiving official court documents, you know. So please feel free to let go of my hand. It's not a holy relic, after all. We're just trying to be friendly, Your Honor. Had you lingered a moment longer, the Goddess of Justice might have spoken to you through my gavel. Alright, I got it. Nice work, gavel. Just like we planned. I did only as you instructed, Eustace, but thank you. This report came from the police. I have no choice but to accept its legitimacy. But if the dog didn't kill Knight, then that takes Canis out of the running. Goddess of Justice speaks to me, Mr. Edgeworth, and she is merciful. She tells me that you might yet keep your badge if you will finally abandon this fruitless quest. What's our move, sir? Think she really means it this time. What do you think, detective? My answer remains the same, Judge Gavelle. I will see my duty done, and I will not be intimidated. Even with how things stand, you still refuse to concede. This may very well be your last chance. Your badge hangs by a thread. Let it fall if it must. I have something far more important to protect as an associate attorney. My client. The Goddess of Justice is no doubt saddened by your refusal to accept yet another offer of mercy. Attaboy, Miles. That's what I like to see. Looks like the defense never rests really is starting to mean something to you. Credit to your old man, though. He's the one who said it first. My father? In fact, I could swear I saw Gregory's spirit in you for a second there. He said that you've changed since your days in Von Karma's shadow. Didn't believe you at first, but I'm starting to. Thank you, Fender. Alright, kids. This is where the rubber really hits the road. Put your thinking caps on. It's make or break time. If it's true that Knight was off with a bladed weapon, does our whole case really fall apart? A bladed weapon, of course. There were 5 chisels in Canis' cell when we last looked. A former assassin certainly wouldn't struggle to commit murder with a tool like that. In which case, the weapon that killed Knight was... Have you quite finished yet? It would be in your best interest to concede. Evidence is everything. May well be my little catchphrase, but it's also true. So a murder weapon was a sharp blade. Then where is it? The guards didn't find it. Why can't you let this one go? So what if they didn't find it? What are you driving at? What if I were to tell you that now I know what the real murder weapon was? And it was right under our noses the whole time. Indeed. It was one of Mr. Canis' chisels. What? Overruled. I would advise you to stop bombarding us with your irresponsible, half-baked theories, Mr. Edgeworth. You repeatedly insisted that Mr. Knight was killed in the cell by a dog. I simply go where the evidence takes me, both in the courtroom and at the scene of a crime. If the murder weapon was in fact a chisel, then yes, the murderer could not have been a dog. That begs the question of what exactly it was we saw in the security footage. Oh yeah, the security footage! Can you explain that, Mr. Smarty Pants? An excellent question. The footage shows... dog killing somebody, somebody attacking the dog jumping on somebody. Mr. Canis' dog jumping up at Knight. The dog attacked Knight, but he didn't kill the man. He didn't? No, Knight was merely knocked out. The dog didn't drag a corpse to the tunnel. He dragged an alive but unconscious Mr. Knight. The real killer was the dog's master. Oh, I get it. By bringing Knight here, Mr. Canis could finish the job. They could definitely use one of his chisels to do it. Correct. You bought it, Homer Canis. You're the only one who could have done it.
Objection!
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, you ever get this on your report card? Refuses to listen. Must learn respect to others. Are you asking me or confessing to what's on yours? We already searched Mr. Canis' cell from top to bottom, right, Gavel? Yes, we even inspected his chisels. All 4 of them. There wasn't a single speck of blood.
Hold it!
Why, thank you, Your Honor. You have just confirmed my theory. I have? What exactly do you mean? Last time we were here, there were 5 chisels, not 4. Oh yeah, I remember counting them. Definitely 5. And the one that's missing is the small one. The one we thought might be a pocket chisel. Mr. Canis, where did you hide that chisel? A pocket chisel? What use might I have for such a thing, I'm rarely allowed to leave my cell. In which case, he shouldn't have had the chance to dispose of the weapon. You've dug your own grave, Mr. Canis. You seem to have an idea about where this missing chisel might be, Mr. Edgeworth. Would you enlighten us? For a man who can't leave his cell of his own volition, Canis can only have hidden the chisel here. I don't know. I'm assuming if he couldn't leave his cell, it's gotta be in his cell, right? Mr. Canis is still a prisoner despite the comfort he enjoys. He's rarely allowed out of his cell. Could have given the chisel to his dog to leave somewhere, but that would have been far from ideal. He would have no way of guaranteeing where it might end up. Intriguing. Do go on, Mr. Edgeworth. Furthermore, this room is the one place where a bladed instrument wouldn't raise an eyebrow. 4 chisels, 5 chisels. Who's counting? In fact, he took full advantage of. The old keep the incriminating evidence close by routine. Classic.
Objection!
Hey, Ephraim. But I looked, I searched the whole cell by myself, and there's just nowhere he could have hidden it.
Objection!
I'm certain that the murder weapon is here. And that the reason why no one has found it yet is because it was hidden in such an ingenious manner. To enlighten us, Mr. Edgeworth, what was my ingenious plan? Think, Miles. There must be a hiding spot he can make use of. Think about where you came when you came here previously. What were you missing? You know, one of the fan translators from back in the day played this on his channel. Nice. That's cool. The dog. He hasn't made a sound today. When we were here before, he barked and growled repeatedly. Canis even encouraged him to do so. That must be it. I knew something was off. I can hardly believe it, but I think I know where he hid the murder weapon. Giving up already? I expected more from you, Mr. Edgeworth.
Hold it!
As well as you should, if you'd give me a moment. This piece of evidence shows where you hid the murder weapon. Dog with suspiciously chiseled shaped bulge in his throat.
Take that!
Your dog, he seems unusually quiet today. Oh yeah, unlike last time when... Mr. Canis, if you'd be so kind to open Helmet's mouth. Oh, come now, he hasn't barked because he's a well-behaved boy. I had to order him to last time. Then order him again, this instant. It's not like we're asking for the world, Mr. Canis. Or do you have something to hide? If you insist. Come on, Helmet, open up. And there we have it. A chisel that was small... That small was easy to... Wait. Chisel that small was easy enough for a dog of this size to... What? What? A chisel in the dog? Why is there a chisel in the dog? The dog... The chisel's got that dog around him. Thought he'd been strangely quiet. Guess his brain finally caught up. Eustace, why don't you be a good boy and call forensics? Tell them it's urgent. Okay. Our findings are as follows. Traces of blood were detected on the chisel. What? Not such a half-baked theory after all, was it? Alright, so we're on the same page here. This is our murder weapon, right? Forensic evidence cannot be ignored. We have no choice but to concede that this is the most likely the case. And traces of blood hidden by Candace inside the dog's mouth has a small bell attached to it. So investigations 1, there seems to be some lines where they forgot to pause before continuing. There were some weird spelling errors in this, in 2. Mr. Candace, in light of the discovery of the murder weapon... Where was it? Yeah, this is the one I found the other night. Inappropriate with 4 P's. Inappropriate. Court demands that you explain yourself. Found the route your dog took to the holding cells, and now we have the chisel. How do you propose you talk your way out of this one? You never fail to entertain, Mr. Edgeworth. Why does he always have to laugh like that, even when it's not funny? Poor Helmet. How can they suspect us, You leave me little choice. I shall simply have to share with you the truth. I did not kill anyone. I have grown tired of killing. Something's not right. Why is he so calm? Very well, the court will hear Mr. Candace's testimony. If you would be so kind. Gladly. Candace's defense. Perhaps you might begin by explaining what you believe my motive to have been. I never knew this knight. I had no contact with him. No connection whatsoever. Given that this is the case, why would I possibly wish him dead? Could it be you were suggesting that it was my canine companion who had the motive instead? Helmet only bears his fangs when I tell him to. I'm not so bloodthirsty that I would kill a man I did not know. I mean, when he puts it that way. An assassin who only kills his acquaintances? Not the soundest business model, I agree. My work required me to deal with strangers, of course, but murder for its own sake? That's not my style. So I need to prove a link between Knight and Canis. Should go over the evidence again and see what I could discover. I know what it is. It's really obvious. Never knew this knight. Had no connection with them whatsoever. Liar.
Objection!
You're getting sloppy, Mr. Canis. Or should we say, Mr. Cantus. You may have trained your dog to clean up your mess, but some things still require a human touch. We found this in the victim's room. It's the record of a game of correspondence chess. What's more, the game depicted matches the game laid out on your board. What? The number of possible games have been calculated to be about 10 to the power of 120, and that's on the low end. Wait, so that's 10 times 10, 120 times over, right? 1,000, 100, 10,000. I give up. I mean, what do you even call a number that big? A vanishingly unlikely coincidence, that's what. Now, tell us why you killed Knight. Unless that is, you would prefer to explain the coincidence. Well, they do say that the truth is stranger than fiction. It is, as you say, a coincidence. But it's totally impossible. We just proved that. A coincidence of a different kind, child. I never imagined my correspondence was the victim, you see. And yet here we are. Helmet is as surprised as I am. Aren't you, Helmet? Yes, yes. Knight was playing correspondence chess against Canis. Did the two have some sort of connection?
And here we are.
Just because you brought that up. Suppose there's nothing for it but to finally tell the truth, boy? The other prisoners had all gone to the yard, you see. There was a show of some sort, I believe. Here I was, minding my own business, when in comes Helmet, dragging a corpse of all things. I had quite a shock, but not least because the murder weapon was still in the poor fellow's neck. Of course, I was none too keen on becoming a suspect, so I had Helmet take the body to the workshop. Once there, he removed the murder weapon and brought it back to me, just as I asked. Dog pulled out the murder weapon in the workshop. Indeed he did. Moving it here would have made an awful mess, after all. You know something? That makes total sense. You know what Mr. Sot said, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm a bean. Almost awful. I'm getting hungry. Let's see. So what Mr. Sot actually saw was Helmet removing the murder weapon then. Precisely. Can't say I wasn't a little disappointed that he was spotted, of course. Silly boy. Not like you to slip up like that, is it now? And there you have it. That's about all there is to tell. I did not kill the man. At most, I'm responsible for the removal of the weapon. Now, will that be all? Poor Helmet's growing restless.
Objection!
Sorry, but if you could entertain us for just a little longer, Mr. Canis. Fender? No offense, Palio, but I don't think you've quite told us everything. I'm sure we'd all like to know why you thought you needed to pull out the chisel in the first place. He's right. Makes sense that he would move the body to avoid suspicion, but Canis had no reason at all to recover the murder weapon. So the mute one isn't as dumb as I thought. Please answer the question, Mr. Canis. It was because of the bell. The one attached to the chisel, and the one around Helmet's neck. A very distinctive design, if you will. Of course, they were something of a trademark of yours, were they not? I don't get it. How does that even work? LaBelle? Oh wait, no. Yeah, no, that's still 2 games from now. Snack for a second. I keep forgetting I have a gift card that I haven't activated yet, so I can get some free snacks at some point to replace these edamame beans, which were subpar at best. I mean, they're edamame beans. They do exactly what they say they're going to do, but I'm not that good. They're okay. The rivals were better. I don't get it. How does that even work? Bonded Homer Canis, a blind butcher. His appearance was always announced by the sound of bells. The last sound his victims would ever hear. You flatter me. Though it's been some years since you last saw one of them, you remember them well. Your knife and its attached bell were one of the pieces of evidence seized in our case against you. Yes, it was but one of my bells. One of only 2 in existence. Just 2? 2 and only 2. One for my knife, and one for my beloved helmet. Exquisitely crafted. Utterly unique. My ears are my guide, after all. And I must be able to use my tools, precisely. Of course, as you said, the knife has long since been taken from me. Mr. Canis's bells. Only 2 such bells exist. One is attached to Helmet the dog, the other to Canis's knife, which was seized by the police during his arrest. When Helmet brought the body to my cell, I was surprised to hear a familiar sound. At first I was sure that my knife had been used to do the deed. But no, a chisel. An ordinary chisel. It's certainly no assassin's blade. Nonetheless, the well would have suggested my involvement. Compounding the matter is the fact that I'm the only person in this prison permitted to use such tools. It was clear that I had become the prime suspect. And so the chisel had to be removed and hidden.
Hold it!
You still claim that all you did was have the dog move the body? That you had nothing to do with the killing? How could I? I told you. The chisel is not mine. You need not take my word, Mr. Edgeworth. Why not have it checked for fingerprints? Eustace? Huh? Me? But I don't know how to check for prints. Get forensics. Oh, right, sure thing. We got him. Fingerprints. They're Mr. Knight's. And Mr. Canis's. Nope, just Mr. Knight's. On forensics said there's no sign of any prints having been wiped off. Only Knight's fingerprints. This isn't good. Should I get them to check again? Now do you see? I have never so much as touched that chisel. Helmet carried it in his mouth. That is all. Therefore, any prints must belong to whoever had it last. Ugh. So the murder weapon belonged to the victim? Ooh, that's not helpful. As I said, I have not touched the chisel. Therefore, I cannot be the killer. Or do you wish to suggest otherwise? I've got nothing to counter with. But what could this mean? Is he not the killer after all? Is he actually telling the truth? No, he can't be. Sure, this goes without saying, Mr. Edgeworth, but if you do not find a solution to your current predicament, and quickly, I will have little choice but to relieve you of your badge. Even my patience has a limit, and I will not tolerate you throwing this investigation into chaos. Am I clear? You've done it now, sir. She's serious. Hate to admit it, but the fingerprints turn everything on its head. Without more evidence, I'm back to square one. Wait, something doesn't add up. A few things, actually. What would Mr. Knight have needed a chisel for? You do a lot with a chisel, child. Break out of a prison, for one. Alright, but then how did he get in here? No way the guards will let him bring a super sharp tool in with them, right, Mr. Edgeworth? Hey, Earth to Mr. Edgeworth. Can't stand there hemming and hawing just because of a little setback. Important thing is finding the truth, you know. Doesn't matter how we get there. As long as we save Simon in the end. We can't give up now. Or ever. Yeah, what she said. I'll second that. You won me around with that, Kay. I intended to offer you a job for real. Like I said, the defense never rests. Or rather, like your pop said, what do you think lies at the heart of those words, Miles? Or rather, like your pop said, what do you think lies at the heart of those words, Miles? Any guesses? The heart of those words. It's like this. As defense attorneys, our client's fate rests on our shoulders. We're the only ones that they could turn to. Simon's our client, and we're the only ones who could save him. So we can't rest. Not while he's counting on us. I'm not about to turn my back on your old man's legacy. Are you? I'm an associate with the defense now. No, I'm an associate with my father's firm. That's the role I have chosen, and that means that if I fail to save my client, I've failed in my duties. I will honor my father's vision and save Simeon Saint. No matter what setbacks I face, I cannot admit defeat. If one path is blocked, I must simply find another. There we go. That's the Miles Edgeworth I know. Let's find that new path forward. We can start by trying to figure out how Mr. Knight was brought that chisel into the prison. Right. How would Knight have managed to bring a chisel in here?
Take that!
Usually, it wouldn't be possible to bring a metal object into this facility undetected. Because of the security gates, right? Correct, but we already know that checks at one of the gates haven't been entirely thorough as of late. Namely, the gate at the entrance to the detention center. Alright, now I'm going to take the Advil. Get them painkillers. So, one of my lovely people... Wait, hold on a second. Okay, here we go. Oh my god, my nose is getting stuffy. I hope I'm not getting sick. You know what? You know what? If I gotta get sick, please, right now. Because then I won't be sick in 2 weeks. Which, by the way, my vacation starts in, well, less than 2 weeks now. It starts the following Tuesday night after work ends. I always count that night as like day one. Because it's like, it's like the hype day. I'm so ready to go. Knight took advantage of this little oversight and had Mr. Saint bring him the chisel, hidden inside his pocket chess set. That does answer one of our questions, and suggests that the chisel was indeed Mr. Knight's and not Mr. Canis's. Knight hid a chisel in here to prevent it from being found by the prison staff. However, we still have one rather pressing problem to address. Of the security footage in which Knight is attacked by a dog. Yeah. How does one explain it if Mr. Canis was not the culprit? Then how do you explain his prints not being on the murder weapon? This one's a real three-piper. Three-piper? What does that mean? This court, too, finds itself wanting for a satisfactory explanation. Wait, sir, I think it might be time to show you another one of my secret weapons. Introducing secret weapon number 4, Lil V. What sort of name is that, detective? I came up with it myself, sir. Anyway, you could use it to analyze the video footage. An excellent idea. Perhaps then you might finally see that I am telling the truth. Who knows if there's anything to be found, but it has to be worth a try. Alright, want me to talk you through how to use it, sir? Seeing as I'm not exactly familiar with the video analysis techniques, perhaps I should hear him out. If you could run me through its functions, detective, that would be most appreciated. Yes, sir. So you just gotta do what you always do. Examine anything that catches your eye. I can examine things with X, I see. Next up, see those controls at the bottom of the screen? The panels on the left and right let you rewind and fast forward. And you can use the middle section to pause. Get used to those and you're golden, sir. Seems I can also press R to fast forward or L to rewind the footage. And I can press A to pause. Oh my god, we get to see this multiple times now. When the video is paused, you can go to the previous frame with L or the next frame with R. Or just use the control panels I showed you earlier. Lastly, I better explain how to zoom in. Just line up the old cursor with the area you want to take a closer look at and then use the panel on the bottom right. And Lil V will do the rest. It's got those 2 expanding arrows right next to it. Can't miss it, sir. It would appear I could also zoom in by pressing Y as well. By the way, even when you're zoomed in, you could still examine stuff, just like in regular view. Also, you can make use of the previous and next frame to get a good look at what's really happening. Only thing you can't do when you're zoomed in is play the footage, so there's that. I see, and how do I zoom out again? Just use the panel on the lower right again, sir. See how it's gone from expanding to collapsing on the arrows there? It's because you're zoomed in. I'm going from collapsing to expanding right now. Ba-dum-bum. That about sums it up. Let's fire Lil V up for real. Remember, just examine anything that catches your eye, and it'll do fine. Mush my mouth even more than it's already mushed up. Footage from Knight's holding cell. Other than the victim being attacked by that dog, I can't see what else it might show us. But suppose we're wrong. What could we be looking at instead? Could the person in the footage be someone other than Knight? And if so, could whatever's attacking them be something else too? Should keep both questions in mind while reviewing the footage. Never know what you're gonna see once you start looking at things up close. Check every detail, sir. You'll find something, I'm sure. What in this footage seems odd? This is definitely slower than the footage we saw previously. Oh, it doesn't actually fast forward, it just skips ahead a bit. Anyway, that's clearly not nightly. Figure's reflected in the mirror here, too. Hmm? Is that a hat? No, don't stick me with the pen. Hype nudes. Oh, I forgot to use that. Wait a minute. Hold up a second. Can you not modify follower emotes? No, you can't. Huh. I didn't realize you couldn't do that, huh? Yeah, just sub emotes. That's weird. Anyway, there's a gigantic pea balloon. See, doesn't that look like the hats the guards wear, sir? Oh, jeez. Is that what I think it is? That making an emote big is a bits thing, so you have to actually pay for that ability. So if it's not your own channel, so don't go spending those willy-nilly. Have there been any reports of one of the animals attacking a guard recently? Not that I've heard of. So this may not be a guard at all, but somebody dressed as one. Perhaps this might shed a little light on the matter of this hat.
Take that!
Yeah, you could squish stuff. That's what I was gonna do. I was gonna squish an emote of me to simulate getting popped. So no guards have been reported being attacked by an animal, as far as we know. We did hear about a guard spare uniform being stolen. Could the person in the security footage perhaps be someone disguised as a guard? Someone attempting to escape without being noticed? A guard disguise? I guess it might work. Wait, weren't we just talking about someone? We were indeed. Someone who seems to have successfully made his escape. If the person in that footage isn't Knight, then the creature may not be a dog either. You're right, sir. Let's zoom in and check. What in this footage seems odd? That's a bear. Sir. Sir, look, wait. Why is Edgeworth saying that? That's not right. That's a mistake. I suspect we may have made a critical error of judgment. What we're looking at here is no dog. This animal is a pig. I'm gonna pick this just because I want to see what that response is. That's not a dog, it's a pig. A pig? I guess if you look at it from a certain angle...
Overruled.
Eustace, this is most certainly not a pig. Hey, look, sometimes even the most uptight people need a little LOL in their lives. Am I right, Miles? What the heck is a LOL? What, you mean it's just some dumb joke? Mr. Edgeworth, the court demands that you answer seriously and truthfully. Ugh, LOL had better not mean loss of life. That's not a dog, it's a bear. What? So the paw prints of the photo I took, they were not canine, but ursine. So paw prints made by a bear. A bear? So could that mean... Yes, I think it could. After all, who else do we know with such a pet? We'd assume that it was night in the security footage. Well, it was his cell. It's hardly a crazy theory. Might be a graveyard theory. Perhaps, but now that we know about the hole under the bed, it's no longer the only possibility. Whoever had access to the tunnel could very well be the one caught on camera. And who was that, Mr. Edgeworth? Would you care to tell the court who you believe this person to be? The person in the security footage is actually...
Take that!
I believe I know who our guard in disguise is. It's none other than Rocco Carcerato, a prisoner who recently escaped from this facility. I'm confident it's him because he was assigned a polar bear cub as his companion. The bear in that video is all black. Indeed, we have evidence that explains why. Evidence that explains the polar bear's dark fur is...
Take that!
Recall, if you will, Mr. Frank Sawat's testimony. Ah, that does come up again. While the circus performance was underway, he was giving one of the animals a mud pack treatment. And that animal could have been, indeed, our polar bear.
Overruled!
Mr. Edgeworth, your latest assertion simply introduces yet another contradiction. According to the security camera, I fully understand, Your Honor, and your doubts are entirely justified. Mr. Sawat mentioned applying the mud pack while the circus performance was underway. This does indeed introduce a new contradiction concerning the security footage. Does? Yes, let's put it this way. When would you expect the footage to have been recorded, Kay? It was taken right after the applied mud pack treatment. It should have been around 9 AM. In which case, something isn't right about the footage. Really? And what's that? What new contradiction does the security footage introduce relative to when it was recorded? I don't know, actually. What is this one? I'm enjoying a couple beans here, hold on. Okay, wait. The time, right?
Take that!
I figured, because I was like, wait a minute, the time doesn't match up. What would be different? And I realized it's the actual time on the video. I was like, what's not lining up here? By the way, I'm not looking this shit up. Like, I'm not cheating or anything. I was actually just taking the time to think while I was munching down a couple beans. Mr. Sawat said he administered the treatment around 9 AM, in which case the security footage should also show a time around 9. However, the timestamp says 6:42 AM. On the day of the murder, the prisoners all went out to the yard to watch the circus. All except 3. Mr. Canis, who remained in his cell in maximum security. Mr. Sawat, who was administering a mud pack treatment in the workshop. And Rocco Carcerato, who had been waiting that precise moment to put his escape plan into action. Ugh. believe he entrusted the bear to Mr. Salt before entering the tunnel. And the bear then slipped out of Mr. Salt's grasp to run after its human. Meanwhile, being told this was busy noticed the Zai hat is expressive. Yeah, Karma did a good job with this. You know me as Zai? Okay. I guess I do have it listed in my Twitch profile. Did you know me from back then? I can't remember. Her name's used to. Okay, never mind. The bear then slipped out. Oh wait, I used it during Moon. I forgot about that. The bear then slipped out of Mr. Salt's grasp to run after its human. Should stop assuming people don't know that name for me. Mr. Salt would have then left the workshop to pursue the bear, at which point he saw Mr. Canis's dog retrieving the murder weapon from Knight's body. That is a face right there. It all fits perfectly, except for the security footage, which should have been recorded around 9 AM. However, the timestamp is 3 hours off. But why would the timestamp be wrong? Detective, I would like to have the security camera examined, right away. The singular yike, yeah. I'm back, sir. Just talked to the guards, and... Seems like the time codes could slip on these cameras if they lose power. What? They're pretty old, sir. Guess the clock stops when the power's off. Which would mean the power was off for approximately 3 hours at some point. Timestamp is off to a 3-hour gap in the footage. It was actually recorded around 9 AM. That's not all, sir. Remember how Knight denied stealing the keys? No one believed him considering, well, you know, he seemed like the only suspect. Turns out that wasn't all he said. He also said he was knocked out cold, just like the other guy. Which may not necessarily have been a lie. Darlings, there you all are. Hey, how you doing? Who would make a camera that relies on power flow to keep track of time? I don't know. I mean, Pokemon Gold and Silver. That had a battery, which kept the clock going. How goes the investigation? Is there anything I could do to help things along? Actually, there might be something we could do for you, Warden Lagarde. The escapee, Mr. Carcerado, believe he may still be on the premises. He's disguised as a guard. Here's the proof, should you need it. We're reasonably certain that the person captured on this tape is our man. And if I'm correct, he might even be right here in this room with us right now. Hey, Mr. Carcerado would have been wearing a bracelet, right? Yes, a bracelet that could easily be hidden under the sleeves of a stolen uniform. Furthermore, the doors out of the prison proper don't have those sensors to detect the bracelets installed. The doors out of the prison proper don't have those sensors that detect the bracelets installed. So if he avoided the doors with sensors, he could simply wait for an opportunity to finally make his escape. Well, yes, I suppose that he could. He'd just have to avoid the workshops and the cells, and... oh my. He could be in this very room. He could be you. He could be me. He could even be... He's one of you, isn't he? He's here right now. Look, it's Teddy. Hey, paws off. Get your mitts off of me, you big palooka. Thank you, Teddy. Very kind of you to confirm our suspicions. Oh! Dang it, kid. If it wasn't for you, what a thing it is to be loved, huh, Mr. Carcerado? I'm almost envious. Bazinga. Wow. Guards, apprehend this man. Impregnate him immediately. A moment, if you will. I have some questions for our would-be escapee. When I learn the truth, I'll need to speak with him. With your permission, of course. I can hardly say no now, can I? Come on, then. Hit me with your best shot. Mr. Carcerado's escape route led directly into Knight's cell. So it's highly possible he has something to offer. Tell me what you were doing on the day Mr. Knight's body was discovered. Around the time of discovery. So it was you guys, huh? You're the ones who found my secret getaway tunnel. You know how long it took me to dig that freaking thing? Had me a guard's uniform, a whole dug, and a plan in place. So in for the day you found the guy. But then this little guy just had to come right after me. That sack of fur was covered in mud, too. Had to go back to our cell. Ah, would have gotten away with it if somebody had an off night and brought in bums down here. So this hardened brawler with a bear club clinging to his front is oddly cute. Yeah. I mean, he's murdered someone, but it's still cute. You claim to have dug that tunnel just now. How exactly did you do it? How? Used everything I could get my hands on, see? Hammers, spoons, you name it. Spent every dime I had in this cockamamie fixer. And what do I gotta show for it now, huh? Do not be disheartened, friend. Tomorrow is another day. There's an outside chance Mr. Carcerado and Knight met face to face just before Knight's death. Should see what other details I could extract from him. How do you dig a tunnel with a hammer? No clue.
Hold it!
Practice. The tunnel you... Shut up! Who you telling to hold it? The tunnel you said you don't know nothing. You don't know what I had to do. Had to come crawling out to the fixer monk. Had to grovel and kowtow day after day after day. How you gonna give me back the hours, huh? The days, the months? Can't get a word in edgewise. Should never stuck your noses in my tunnel. Never!
Hold it!
So the tunnel was all your own work? Every inch. See anybody else in my cell when I was in there, huh? Well, it's quite an effort, even for an athlete. Yeah, now that I think about it, that's an insane amount of digging for one guy. Yeah, well, you don't know the half of it, kid. But it ain't like I had a choice. Trust nobody and don't get caught. Them's the rules a con's gotta live by. Huh. You know, the rules of being a great thief are pretty similar. Okay, rather you didn't start sympathizing with the suspect. I was just joking, Mr. Edgeworth. Ain't no sticking joke to me. You punks owe me!
Hold it!
The uniform, was it from the fixer too? Huh, sure was. Heard he had something on one of the guards. I think I swiped it from a pal's locker. You were wearing it when you were crawling through the tunnel? Nope, but I got dirt on it. Had to hold on to it until I got to the holding cell. Can't get a word in Edgeworth-wise, yeah. Once I was out of there and all dressed up, opening the cell door should have been a piece of cake. Here we go, I think. Freedom beckons. And the furball here jumps up at me. Which would have been the moment captured on camera. I see. I'd be grateful if you could add that to your testimony. So I was out of that tunnel and all dressed up, open the cell door should have been a piece of cake.
Hold it!
Open the cell door should have been a piece of cake, you say? Sure. Anything seems pretty easy after dragging yourself through a hole in the ground. And you were familiar with the layout of the detention center, even though you live in the prison. Oh, why wouldn't I be? Ain't like I'd never been there before. If familiar with the detention center, then you'd surely be aware. Like the doors in the main prison, the holding cell doors are locked with actual keys. And I'm sure Mr. Carcerado would have needed that particular piece of evidence to make his escape.
Objection!
He has the keybs. K-E-Y-B-S, keybs. You claim that leaving the holding cell would have been a piece of cake, as you put it. Yeah, you got a problem with that? Because you can make it a problem if you catch my drift. Even once you had reached Knight's cell, you still had another door to contend with. How exactly did you plan on opening it? Yeah, exactly like that, Merc. Mr. Carcerado, I posit that leaving the cell would have been a piece of cake, only because you had the key. I don't got no stinking key. I didn't need one. It was a piece of cake because the door was open. Walked right out.
Objection!
Yes, I suppose Knight's cell was vacant by that point. There'd be no reason to lock it. And it was indeed unlocked when I went to examine it myself. So perhaps when you'd finally succeeded today, it was truly unlocked because it was after the murder. But you had attempted to escape previously. Yeah, the security footage showed you tried and failed because Teddy caught you. Which was during the circus performance, before the body was discovered. The holding cell was still locked at that time because no one knew that Knight had been killed yet. Therefore, you must have had the key on his cell on you. Without it, your escape would not have been possible. Are you saying, could he really have... I believe he could, yes. The death of the keys was, in fact, perpetrated by none other than... Mr. Carcerado. He is the one who attacked the guard. But not just the guard, Knight too. All to gain possession of the guard's keys. No response to evidence strikes like he's taking blows in a boxing match, yeah. It wasn't me, you lousy bum. I didn't even know this night guy.
Objection!
After you stole the keys, you went back to your cell to avoid suspicion. And then you waited for the perfect moment to escape. The moment when the prison would be almost deserted. That's right, the moment of the show. Just before the discovery of the body. And luckily for you, that particular attempt was thwarted by your furry friend. Says who, huh? A proof genius? This ain't your win yet. Nuh-uh. Knight knocked the guard out for the count, and everybody knows it.
Objection!
Don't play dumb games with me. I don't know where dumb came from. Don't play games with me. Knight was as much of a victim as the guard in this case. As a matter of fact, I have proof that Knight had been attacked in his cell.
Take that!
That proves it? Indeed it does. Yes, I think I see it. Very victim-y. Very victim-y indeed.
Overruled.
Yeah, wasn't it? Mr. Edgeworth, this piece of evidence is utterly meaningless. Really? Yeah, that's what I meant to say. If only she weren't here. Try and recall the evidence we found in Knight's cell. Something that's in there that suggests what might have really happened between the two of them. Guess she had nothing after all, huh? I thought I was talking about the gash on his head. On his cheek. Because it, Also, small cut on his scalp when he suffered a blow to the head.
Take that!
We found traces of Knight's blood on the clearly wiped floor of his cell. What could possibly explain such a thing other than him having been attacked? And it was you who attacked him. You ambushed both of them and stole the keys. No, we already used the glove. The glove was, Mr. Sot's. Why, Iona? What's with you, huh? That newspaper wiped up that blood good. Ain't no way you should have found it. Okay, but why'd you think you had to wipe it up anyway? They checked Knight in the guard's hands. They would have seen those two never came to blows. That blood had given up the whole game. Ain't no way they don't figure out there was a third man in the ring. Plus, once they started sniffing around the floor, they'd found the tunnel and the heartbeat. So you wiped up the blood to buy yourself a little more time, so you could wait for a better opportunity. Sadly, the opportunity you sought wasn't good enough to get you clear of the prison, it seems. Now, hand over the keys. Right in the kisser. Down for the count. KO'd by a lousy, stinking bum. Fine, you want the keys here. Hope you choke on them. Found in Carcerado's possession.
Overruled.
Wait a moment. If Mr. Carcerado here had the keys... Indeed, Your Honor. Your theory relies on Knight having used the keys he allegedly stole to escape his cell. That was the only way he would have been able to enter Mr. Saint's cage and be moved to the workshop. Unfortunately for you, we now know that that theory cannot possibly be true. Ah! No! Guess this changes things up a bit, yeah? Now the only person who could have moved Knight's body is the one person who knew about that tunnel. No! You gotta be freaking... Mr. Carcerado, you're under arrest. Come quietly now, pal. Oh, wait, you got the wrong guy. I didn't do nothing. Alright, fine, I knocked those two chumps out, and I stole the keys. But after that, I went right back to my cell and waited for my moment. Miss Gavel, why is your call overruled even without an initial objection? Because she's a judge. It's what she does. It's what she shouts. They could have had her shout order instead. Especially since that's the most common thing the judge says in Ace Attorney. Next time I went to Knight's cell, there was nobody around, and I mean no body. Plus his body was found in the workshop. Think I just magicked my way in there or something? Couldn't even got out of my cell. Indeed, you only had the key to Knight's cell. Couldn't have left your own cell back in the prison. Time to go to super jail. But Mr. Canis's dog could. What? It was not you but Helmet who moved the body from your cell to the workshop. Overruled is better in most contexts, true. I get it now. You're saying he wasn't the only con in this conspiracy. Indeed. One can easily imagine how Mr. Carcerado and Mr. Canis might have worked together. Mr. Carcerado could have killed Knight and dragged him back to his cell. And then Mr. Canis' dog took him from there to the workshop. There were no restrictions on the animal's movements within the prison. Movement between detention center and the prison proper, however, is tightly controlled. There was only one possible route, and only you could have taken advantage of it, Mr. Carcerado. How can you be so sure, huh? Maybe there's more of them and you just don't know. Something tells me that digging even a single tunnel was arduous enough. Got that right. You try scraping more than one hole in the dirt with a spoon. Lucky for me, I didn't have to dig the whole way. Somebody already did a bunch of the work for me. What? You didn't dig the entire tunnel yourself? Nope, found it when they put me in that cell. Ran all the way from the well in the yard already. Even looked down the well to check from there. It was the same tunnel, alright. I made good on what somebody else I just made good on what somebody else already started. Then what was the original tunnel for? Who knows? You know with all the answers, pal. Maybe someone else tried to break out? Oh, or maybe the animals dug it. Like to get water from the well or something. Heard of more plausible scenarios than that in B-grade movies, Kay. Well's dry, kid. Ain't no water to be had down there. Though, come to think of it, I smell. Yeah, I always smelled kinda nice down there. Nice? Gee, I don't know. Smelled like dessert, I guess. Sweet scent. That sounds very familiar. Where did we come across a sweet smell before?
Take that!
Detective Gumshoe noticed a sweet smell when we were examining Knight's body. With the help of a police dog, we followed the scent of the body and traced its route back through the prison. And that, Mr. Carcerado, was how we found your tunnel. Could that same sweet scent be what you noticed coming from the well? Very clever, Mr. Edgeworth. You mean to suggest that this evidence is this is evidence of the body having been moved to the tunnel? I do. Furthermore, Mr. Carcerado, you're the only person who could have done it. Nobody else has access. Really playing that card, yeah? You have our thanks, Mr. Carcerado. Finally, the truth comes into view. Now unburden yourself. It is time. Confess your role in this tragic incident. What, you ain't pinning this on me? I'm glad to see that we're finally in agreement, Your Honor. Oh, if only we were, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Carcerado may have been an accomplice, but not of Mr. Canis. No, he was working with Mr. Knight.
Hold it!
What do you mean? I do not believe that he moved Mr. Knight's body. Instead, I believe that he lent Mr. Knight the use of the keys he stole. You gotta be kidding me! Granted, it seems that he likely attacked Mr. Knight. That doesn't necessarily mean that Mr. Knight was knocked unconscious as a result. And what if he wasn't? What if he and Mr. Carcerado had reached a certain agreement? What kind of agreement, exactly? Mr. Knight was plotting an escape. An escape for which he required a means of leaving his cell. And here was that precise means in the form of the keys Mr. Carcerado had just stolen from the guard. Mr. Carcerado himself would need to pass through Mr. Knight's cell in order to effect his own escape. Mr. Knight needed only to shout and alert the guards, and Mr. Carcerado's plans would be ruined. And so, the two struck a deal. Lady, the only striking I do is with my fists. My, still you deny it? So, we're all agreeing that we still disagree? Mr. Knight had Mr. Carcerado unlock his cell so that when Mr. Saint arrived, he could escape on the cage. Mr. Saint was then able to move into the prison proper, just as planned. Aha! And then he took Mr. Knight into the workshop and did the dirty deed.
Objection!
Were neither of you listening? The scent of Knight's body proves that it was taken to the tunnel. It was moved from his cell to the... Perhaps if you'd let me finish, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm not denying that Mr. Knight's body was moved to the tunnel. Then what are you driving at? Is this a trick question? As you say, Mr. Edgeworth, the sweet scent shows the route the body took. However, it did not enter the tunnel from Mr. Knight's cell. Huh? Then how did it get down there? There's another possibility, one you seem to have overlooked. The well in the yard. Could a body not have entered the tunnel from there? The well in the yard? Oh, yeah, that thing. Mr. Saint did not take the cage to the workshop. He took it outside. There he killed Mr. Knight and threw his body down the well. Mr. Canis's dog then dragged Mr. Knight's body here to his cell owner's cell from the bottom of the well. On that note, I would ask you to recall something. What was happening in the yard at approximately the time of the body's discovery? The circus show, right? Regina and Simeon were performing for everyone. Wait, Simeon? Ah! Ah, indeed. And so you see how it must have been with him. It must have been him who disposed of the body as well. Judge Gavelle is truly a formidable opponent. She so effortlessly adjusted her theory to fit the facts. I propose that Mr. Knight was taken to the yard, not the workshop. And as we've established, Mr. Saint was off stage for 15 minutes. Ample time to throw the body down the well. I am sure you agree.
Objection!
Your deduction is impressive, Your Honor. However, even supposing that Mr. Knight's body was indeed thrown down the well, you cannot conclusively say that it was during the show. It could have happened at a different time.
Overruled!
My sympathies, Mr. Edgeworth, but it simply could not have... What? Mr. Carcerado was using the tunnel at around the time the show began. Mr. Carcerado, did you happen to trip over a corpse while you were down there? No. The place was clean. Ugh. If the body had been at the bottom of the well before the show began, Mr. Carcerado would have seen it. However, he saw no such thing. Which makes it somewhat difficult to support your theory. Furthermore, Mr. Knight's body was discovered in the workshop after the show. In summary, the body must have been thrown down the well and moved to the workshop at some point during the show. Tell me, who else could have done that but Mr. Saint? Ugh! What do we do, Mr. Edgeworth? The body did indeed enter the tunnel from the well. Things don't look good for Mr. Saint. Still, Your Honor, your theory is still just that, a theory. And I posit that you lack the evidence to back it up. I concede that for the moment, I do not. May I suggest that we investigate the yard again? Very well. May the goddess of justice go with you. Now then, to the yard. Perhaps we could finally put this case to rest. What's that sound? Yikes, is there a fire? Somebody else escape? Should we maybe skip town too? Darlings, please. There's nothing to be alarmed about. By which I mean that's not an alarm. It's the dinner bell. Although I suppose it's rather alarming if you aren't used to it. Guard lady in the ridiculous fluffy coat, that's Fifi Lagarde, the warden of the prison. Certainly scared the heck out of me. I'm so sorry, Sweet Pea. I hope you can forgive us. Alright, you two, back to your posts. Chop, chop. And as for you, Rocco Caserado, it's time you went back to your room. Fine. I get the picture. Come on, Teddy. We're out of here. Warden Lagarde, we'd like to take one more look around the yard now. Oh, darlings, don't you have homes of your own to go to? Visiting hours are over, I'm afraid. Tomorrow, No, it's imperative that we investigate it right away. I think we've had quite enough excitement for one day, don't you? Murderers, escapees, so eventful. It's time our guests went home to Betty Buys, isn't it? Yes, yes it is. Come on now, darling, don't make me bore you with that I'm the warden, this is an order nonsense. Warden Lagarde is right. Her word is law here, and we must respect her wishes. Mr. Edgeworth, your investigation of the yard will have to wait until tomorrow. You may keep your badge for now. The matter of your standing can wait. I bid you all good day. Like she gets on one, like she gets down on one knee. You could see that like she kind of Has the other one, like, lifted. What are you waiting for, kittykins? Off you go. Fine, at least there is a tomorrow for me. Judge Gavel believes that knight's body was dropped down the well, and then taken through Mr. Carcerado's cell to the workshop. But is that truly the case? Do the facts really support her theory? She also seems to believe Mr. Saint had to be the one to move the body. Was he really the only one with the opportunity to do so? Come on, Mr. Edgeworth, tomorrow's another day. We'll figure out a way to save Simeon. I know we will. Yes, we will. I'll prove that Mr. Saint is innocent, beyond a shadow of a doubt. To be continued. I thought there was only one section left. There are two. Let me just check the playthrough. I want to see how long it takes to this last one. It's already 2:41. I don't want to be doing this till like 4:30 in the morning. Captive Turnabout. It's looking... Oh, actually... Okay. We're looking at almost an hour and 40 minutes. That would be like 3:40 to like 4:20 in the morning. Plus, if I make any mistakes, it gets dragged out longer. Okay. I know this is a short stream as a result, but we'll I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. I thought this was gonna be quicker, and I thought this end part was gonna be like only like a couple hours longer. I forgot there's another whole day still. At least it might be a bit shorter since you have fast text. No, I don't think so. To be honest, I'm kind of tired. I think maybe it would be best if I just wrap it up here for tonight. I almost went for 3 hours total. It's been 2.5, so... So I think this is probably a good spot to stop here. I'll tell you what though, tomorrow... So I'm pretty much all caught up on stuff. Tomorrow and Thursday, I will aim to be here like a lot earlier, and we'll get a lot more done. We'll finish this case, and we'll try to get like over halfway through case 3 before the end of Thursday, and then we'll finish it over the weekend, and then next week we'll do cases 4 and 5. That's gonna be the general like gist of how I want to proceed here. To be honest, I'm actually really hungry too. I'm like tired and hungry, so I think I'll go make something to eat, and then probably just go to bed early, and then I'll be nice and energized tomorrow, and I'll finally get a decent night of sleep. I mean, I could, actually... You know what? Why not? Let's pull this to an even 3 hours. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to... de-ghost myself, first and foremost. Turn myself back to normal, too. And, you know what? How about I do a half hour, like 40 minutes of Spelunky? Since, I want to stream more of that anyway. That'll fit in nicely right now. So don't go anywhere. Stick around. I'll be back in just a moment, and we'll do some Spelunky runs for a little while.